has been a toxic dance of self-destruction. Instead of love, we preach hate. Instead of unity, we stoke division. Instead of substance, we celebrate mediocrity. Instead of demanding the truth, we spread lies and misinformation. Instead of focusing on campaign message, we focus on personal attacks, and instead of consolidating peace, we sow seeds of violence and conflict. While we recognize the role of journalists in promoting dialogue, sustainable peace and national cohesion in post-elections, let us use this moment to reflect on changing the toxicity of our politics. As a bar association, in the run-up to elections, we engage several communities on the importance of peace. We publish election messages, election laws, to inform citizens about their rights and their accompanying responsibilities. But we also knew that that was not enough, because political parties, election management bodies, and leaders of political parties should play their role to change the toxic nature of our politics if peace and cohesion should stand the test of time. Political parties do not only have a responsibility to ensure peaceful conduct of the members and supporters, but they should also empower them with a political message that does not antagonize political opponents. Election management bodies must earn the trust of the public, not only through inclusive and transparent processes, but also by acting within the provisions of the law. And leaders of political parties must act responsibly in both deeds and words, and hold themselves to the highest standard. Distinguished guests, it is obvious that the more toxic the politics, the harder it is to resolve post-elections issues. This is because disputed elections provide fertile ground for polarization, lack of political participation in governance by opposition, mistrust, and intolerance. So, what role should journalists play in promoting dialogue, peace, and national cohesion during this post-election period? First, journalists must use their platforms for various voices and perspectives. I cannot reiterate that point enough. I think two speakers before me also pointed that out. That is fundamental. You should not just limit the voices or the lines that you're projecting to one part. You should have a variety. By allowing diverse voices to be heard, journalists can promote greater understanding of the contentious post-election issues. This can help to foster a sense of common purpose. Secondly, journalists can focus on positive stories of cooperation and collaboration. Often the news tends to focus on negative events and the political division, which can create a sense of fear and mistrust. By highlighting positive stories of politicians and political parties working together to solve problems, journalists can inspire others to do the same. Thirdly, journalists must also be mindful of the potential harm it can cause if it fails to report accurately, truthfully, fairly, and responsibly on post-election matters. So always have a balanced reporting. Misinformation and fake news can fuel conflict and create division. I know there's no the criminal libel law is out, and there's no criminal liability hanging on us, journalists, but please let us be mindful that these can fuel conflicts, misinformation, and create divisions. So the journalists must be vigilant in ensuring that they uphold the highest standards of journalism. As President of the Sierra Leone Bar Association, let me use this opportunity to commend the efforts of the members of the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion, the Commonwealth, and other international development partners for facilitating the ongoing dialogue between the All People's Congress and the government of Sierra Leone. I urge both parties to find common ground so we can quickly resolve the present political impasse. For any government to be effective, it must be propelled by an effective opposition. Similarly, I also urge the government of Sierra Leone to expedite the formation and commencement of the operations of the National Electoral Systems Review Committee announced by His Excellency President Dr. Julius Maada Bio at the opening of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone on 3rd August 2023. I hope the composition of the committee will be broad-based to inspire public trust and confidence in the expected recommendations of the committee. The Sierra Leone Bar Association, as always, stands ready and willing to offer its professional support to the committee to diligently deliver on its mandate. Let me end by saying that building peace and strengthening national cohesion through journalism is a strong foundation for a more peaceful and cohesive post-Sierra Leone.